Hello, my beautiful souls. Doris Victoria here. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video. I'm going to talk about how do we overcome fear. And for all of you that are new to my channel, to my personal empowerment channel, welcome. This channel is here for you to find your strength, to find your inner strength again, to reconnect with that sacred essence that you truly are. And with that being said, let's get started. As I said, my name is Doris Victoria, your soul activation coach. And let's get straight into this. What is fear, actually? There's so many explanations, so many descriptions about fear out there. You know, like false evidence appearing real. Fear is an illusion that is not the truth. Fear is something that we make up. Fear is basically a projection of past experiences, past trauma that we project onto future events. And that's what gives us that fear, because maybe we have had past experiences that were hard and unpleasant or in whatever way, or even painful physically, emotionally, in whatever way, and we project them to the future. And this is basically what our conditioning makes up. So I believe fear is very much part of our conditioning, because one thing that I know is that when we come on back to earth, we come as this pure, beautiful baby that is just pure love. Look at a baby's eye and look at this field of love around this beautiful being of life. There's just joy, and there's communication, and there's connection, and there's just this beauty that is illuminating both. Everyone who is looking at this pure baby or a kitten or a puppy or whatever, you know, there's just pure love. And so fear, I want to make a clarification here that when we, for example, feel a certain way about something, then sometimes people say this is fear, but it's actually our intuition talking to us. So when it is actually your intuition talking to you, let's say that it's your intuition telling you not to do something, and this is just a pure voice, whereas fear is something else. Fear is just like, you know, it's like your mind going crazy, but you might have an intuition that is coming from deeper inside of you, that is encouraging you, for example, not to walk that path, or not to go to that place, or not to take this plane. So there have been all these stories about people, for example, having this intuition and, you know, canceling a flight in the last minute without even knowing why. And then the flight had an accident. Or people not going to a place because they felt uncomfortable about it. They felt like something was off inside of them. And then this place had like a bomb attack or whatever, you know. So there's a difference between fear and intuition. And I really talk about fear today, this false evidence appearing real, that is kind of like protecting us. Fear is based on our ego, and the ego is here for our physical survival. The ego is basically here to keep us safe physically. And so the ego is also very much the conditioned part of us. Everything that has been happened in our past, our ego has it stored, and it will come up with certain things when we are being triggered in any way. So how do we overcome this fear? Rumi once said so beautifully, you know, the path, do not try to see the path as long as you are in darkness. The path will appear when you walk the first step. So basically fear, what we can do to overcome fear, we take it by its hand. We look it into the eye. Because the biggest thing about fear is that we are afraid of our fear. We are not afraid of ourselves. We are not afraid of the situation per se. We are afraid of the feelings that we will have. And those feelings are fear, because when we are afraid of something that has not even been happening yet, it is a projection from the past towards something future. So let's take that fear by its hand and let's walk with it together. You know, what I have done in my life and what has really, really helped me is to see fear as kind of like a persona, something that appears and I can see it. I can look it into the eye. I can ask it, okay, why are you here? And then maybe let the fear speak and then let the fear say what it wants to say. And if it says, oh, well, you have been doing this in the past, it is not going to turn out right this time. You know how it turned out in the past. Let's not do it. This is just going to give you troubles. This is just going to give you physical pain or whatever, you know. But you can look fear into the eye and then ask it further, okay, what is your message for you today? What is your message? What is your message from you for me today? What are you here to teach me? And so when we take really a moment and we breathe, and that's another thing, because when we are in fear, we forget to breathe. And when we forget to breathe, we are suffocating, and that increases the feeling of panic or fear or whatever. So let's just breathe. Let's look this fear into the eye. Let's see it like a persona. I always see it like kind of like a white, kind of like a being with a hoodie. I can't really see it, but it's white and it's very flaky and shaky, and you know, it's thin and it moves with a lot of insecurity. It's not grounded. It's something very, you know. So then I'll take it and I look it into the eye and I ask it, okay, what are you here to teach me? And then I'm going to listen. And if I hear, oh my God, in the past, this and this happened. Let's not do it because this could happen again. Then I'm like, okay, you know what? We got this. We got this. But when it is saying something, you know, sometimes fear can tell you something like, are you sure you have the strength to do this now? And then you can say, we got this, my darling. I have the strength to do this now. I am no longer the version of myself that I have been at that and that age in my life, or, you know, so many years ago. I am no longer that version. I am myself now. I have grown over the times. This fear that I experienced then is not the fear that needs to stick with me today anymore. I am free. I am free. And then you start walking one step forward. And then you see what happens. See if the universe gives you signs. See if the universe is guiding you. See if the universe is talking to you, for example, through music. There might be a song that is coming to you, telling you what to do. Or there might be a message on the car, like this is always how the angels are speaking to us. Life is full of magic when we just open up. And a dear friend of mine, she said, we don't only need to open up our ears and our eyes, but we need to open our hearts. And I believe we need to open our souls for really listening the magic that is out there to follow us and be with us each step of the way. So fear is also something that might not go away from one moment to the next. You know, I had fears in my life. They just dissipated like a soap bubble. You know, those bubbles the children are blowing. So sometimes fears can just dissipate if it's a tiny fear or something, you know, something not so important. But then the bigger fears, like one of the existential fears that I see is the fear of survival. This is a fear that might come up again and again and again. When it does, look it into the eye every time you see it, and you just tell it, you know what, we got this, baby, we got this. And then take this, I would take this tiny kind of like white puppet with the hoodie that is not really grounded. I would take it on my hand and it would become smaller and smaller and smaller until my hand, I feel like I only have flowers in my hand because it's no longer there. So when we start walking the path will appear. Trust your feelings, trust your intuition. And when you feel any kind of fear, when your mind goes crazy, when you might have certain symptoms that are triggered by an old fear, look it into the eye and know that you are you now, that you got you, that the universe got your back, that life's got your back, that love's got your back. You have got your back. And then see what the message is. And oftentimes, you will be surprised about your own courage. And let me end this episode, this video today, with the words of Osho, who said, "Courage is a love affair with the unknown." Courage is a love affair with the unknown. So when you know that the fear is coming, that the fear is a fear of the unknown, just trust that life has a plan for you, because you are so loved. You are loved more than you could ever imagine. And with that, my dear souls, thank you for being here today. Thank you for joining me. Seeing you in the next video. I'm looking forward. Bye for now. Mwah.